Assalamualaikum, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hello guys, welcome to the Dara Education Project video tutorial series for the Ruby programming. And in this session number 19, we are going to learn the class variables and the self methods. First of all, we will understand what is the variable. The variable is the you can say that the containers in which we can store the values, which can be stored temporary values. But the class variable is different for that things. So just for the first of all, we were creating the class variable example file, in the Ruby programming. And first of all, we need to create a class, and here is the class variable, and we am going to create the employee class here. First of all, I am using the define the initialize method, which is used to initialize the components when they are created. And here I will use two variables, ename, ephone here. And after that, I am just creating with this at the rate sign, and this will if we will use single at the rate the sign, then it will show that it's a local variable. And I am using the amp name here, and this then assign this value ename to this variables. And similarly, we use mphone and is equal to ephone is here. Now we are going to create a method for display imply name, and in this we can return the values of the at the rate with the help of the amp name. Similarly, I am going to display another getter method, display imply phone, and return at the rate of amp phone. Now we are going to create an object of imply one, and for this thing we will use imply dot new and place some values like Safulada, and the second value will be the phone number 0311006197, for example. You can see that if I want to approach the variable dot amp name, then you can see that no variable will shown here. So it means I am not directly approaching that variable. So this will be the local variable, and I can access it with the help of this initialize method, or get the values with this display imply name. And if I want to show, this was already discussed here, but in this lecture I'm just going to show you run this program, and then it will show that name. I'm trying to show that if I will create another object to and imply dot new, for example, and place the name of Subhan da and the phone number 030100, something like this, and just puts this imply to dot display name. Now the first value will be removed and the second value will be shown, and it means that this variable holds the latest values which we assigned it. Now we are going to learn if we are using the class variable which value remains intact, then we can use 2 at the rate sign, and after that we am just count imply variable and initialize it. After that, I just want to add the number of count the variables, and simply I am using this variable and add it the variable with 1. It means that whenever a new imply will be created, then this will automatically add in the previous one. It means that this count imply will hold the values for lasting, whatever that was the position is here. For example, I am going to display total imply, you can say total imply, and here I will use this method, and you can say that return I think quotes the total number of in implies in Darsoft, and then use this variable double quotes, the number sign, the curly brackets, and then use this variable amp count imply. This was discussed in the last lectures, and now we are going to select imply 1 dot this total imply. Now we will run this program. Now you can see that the total number of imply in Darsoft is 2. Whether I am selecting imply 1 or imply 2 dot total imply, the answer will be same. It means the value of this total imply, or you can set the count imply, will remain the same. If you are going to create another object like this, control C, and I am going to create it with another variable name, an instance, for example imply 3, and then you can see that the values of the count variable will change into 3. That means that the class variables will remain intact and there is no change will be behind this same. So this variable will be used if we want to make that the values of the class value will be remain the same here. Okay, now we will discuss the self method. The self method is just a simple one. If you will use self method, then click self dot total imply whatever, and if you will pass the parenthesis, then this method will be called whenever we use the imply object. If you want to call it with the instance name, then it will show some kind of errors here, that the undefined method total imply. So we are going to comment these variables, these two lines, and then call this method with the help of imply dot, and then you can see that this will show the total imply. And now we are going to run this program, run class, and then you can see the total number of the implies in the class was the 3. So one more thing, you can see that I am just placing 2 parentheses here. So never mind, if you don't want to use these parentheses, then just remove it, because Ruby programming is a very flexible programming language, that either you will use semicolon or parentheses, then there is never mind for this thing. There is no fact of the language on this thing. So if you want to work with the traditional or the new style of the programming, then it will help you. So thank you very much for watching this tutorial. Please subscribe our channel for further videos. Allah Hafiz.